Wendell Oliver Scott was an American stock car racing driver. He was the first African-American driver and team owner to compete and win in all divisions of NASCAR at its highest level. Scott began his racing career in local circuits in the late 1940s and obtained his NASCAR license in 1953, making him the first African-American ever to compete in NASCAR. He debuted in the Grand National Series on March 4, 1961 in Spartanburg, South Carolina. On December 1, 1963, he won a Grand National Series race at Speedway Park in Jacksonville, Florida, becoming the first black driver and team owner to win at NASCAR's premier level. Unfortunately, Scott's career was repeatedly affected by racial prejudice, including being poisoned and death threats. Despite these challenges, he continued to compete and was posthumously inducted into the International Motorsports Hall of Fame as well as the NASCAR Hall of Fame back in 2015. Scott was born in Danville, Virginia, a town dominated by cotton mills and tobacco processing plants. Scott vowed as a youth to avoid such labor and began learning auto mechanics from his father, who worked as a driver and mechanic. In 1951, the officials at the Dixie Circuit, a regional racing organization, decided to recruit a black driver as a marketing gimmick. Scott was recruited for this purpose and participated in his first race at the Danville Speedway. In search of more opportunities, Scott repaired his car with the help of a black mechanic, Hiram Kincaid, and towed it to a NASCAR-sanctioned event in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Upon arrival, NASCAR officials refused to let him compete due to his race. A few days later, he went to another NASCAR event in High Point, North Carolina, and received the same result. Scott decided to avoid NASCAR for the time being and race with the Dixie Circuit and at other non-NASCAR speedways. He won his first race in Lynchburg, Virginia, only 12 days into his racing career. Scott ran as many as 5 events a week, mostly at Virginia tracks. Some prejudiced drivers would wreck his car deliberately, though his expertise also won him white fans, even among his fellow drivers. These other drivers would serve as his bodyguards at events with racist fans. Scott began the 1953 season on the Northern Virginia circuit after winning a feature race in Stoughton, Virginia. He subsequently tied the Waynesboro, Virginia qualifying record and won the Waynesboro feature race. The Waynesboro News-Virginian reported that Scott had become recognized as one of the most popular drivers to appear here. The Stoughton News leader wrote, "He has been among the top drivers in every race here." In 1954, Scott towed his race car to a local NASCAR event at the Richmond Speedway and asked for the steward, Mike Poston, to grant him a NASCAR license. Poston, a part-time owner, was not a powerful figure in NASCAR's hierarchy, but he did have the authority to issue licenses. Scott's license was approved, and he became the first black driver in NASCAR history. Scott won dozens of races during his 9 years in regional level competition. In 1959, he won 2 championships. NASCAR awarded him the championship title for drivers of sportsman class stock cars in the state of Virginia. And he also won the track championship in the sportsman class at Richmond's Southside Speedway. In 1961, he moved up to the Grand National Series. He achieved the most points for a debutant in 1961. In the 1964 season, he finished 15th in points, and on December 1st, 1963, driving a Chevrolet Bel Air that he purchased from Ned Jarrett, he won a race on the half-mile dirt track at Speedway Park in Jacksonville, Florida, the first Grand National event won by an African American. Scott passed Richard Petty, who was driving an ailing car with 25 laps remaining for the win. Scott was not announced as the winner of the race at the time. Buck Baker, the second-place driver, was initially declared the winner, but race officials discovered 2 hours later that Scott had not only won, but was 2 laps in front of the rest of the field. NASCAR awarded Scott the win afterwards, but his family never received the trophy he earned until 2021, nearly 58 years after the race and 31 years after Scott had passed away.
This amazing driver inspired scores of others to follow in his footsteps, including Tia Norfleet, the first and only licensed African-American female NASCAR driver. There's absolutely nothing that we cannot accomplish if we put our mind to it. The Black Excellence and Abundance channel, where Black history is every day. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, thou art rich.